Dumbass. Why would I hit that button?
Because you're so
I'm not supposed to hit that button.
Stop being so dumb.
I can't help it sometimes.
Well, good, because we are Soul of a Gamer.
Yes, and we're back.
We're back in not black.
No, we're both wearing blue.
Yeah, so this is definitely not black.
We failed.
Yeah, so...
Sorry, guys.
That's it.
Fucked up.
That's the podcast. All right, guys, have a good day.
Yep. Well, no, actually, I still do want to talk about some stuff.
Okay, you go ahead. You talk about stuff. Then. I'm out of here.
Alright, so we are Soul of a Gamer. Every week we play a different video game, and we give you our reviews of that game. We give you our first walkthroughs, our playthrough, just talk about the game in general, and just discuss it with you guys.
Yeah, well, I mean, discuss is a loose term since they're not talking back.
They can. You guys can comment.
You can comment later after we can't argue our points anymore. So there you go. Your discussion started.
I will comment back if you comment.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, so last week's... What the hell did we play last week? Last of Us. I remembered this time.
Yes.
Last of Us. That game was a lot of fun, and we had a really good time. So if you guys didn't check out that video, I'd recommend going and checking it out. We've got a bunch of videos up, and this should be on like a playlist of some kind on YouTube, and then on Spotify you should be able to see all our episodes. So if you're just starting this week, I'd recommend going back and checking out some of the other episodes too.
Yep, I do have this all on a playlist, and I am still on Instagram and TikTok and everything at the Gooey Magoo.
And I'm on nothing.
So
and welcome to my life.
Reach out to me or message the channel, and he can see it.
Yeah, maybe. Very big maybe.
I'll text him.
So let's just get right into this, honestly. This game was a lot of fun.
It's amazing.
This week we played a game. If you're not listening to the audio, he's doing something with his shirt that's really weird. We played a game called Spiderman. And in Spiderman, you are a professional speeder.
Yep.
And you fight crime as Spiderman.
It's like a knockoff of Need for Speed.
Yeah. It's like... But you're a speeder.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah.
But seriously,
you do speed and you drive at some fast speeds.
Spiderman. But we played the... Is it just called Spider-Man?
It's just called Spider-Man.
It's the
People call it 2019. Yeah, Spider-Man 2019 is what everyone's calling it.
I think it came out in 2018, but on the cusp.
It's like right at the end, so I don't know why everyone just calls it Spider-Man.
I guess they probably played it into the new year or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was an amazing game. I love this game so much. I had so much fun with it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
There are some few things that I want to point out, but I want to start with some of the mechanics in this game. The web swinging is fucking phenomenal.
It is the best web swinging since Spider-Man 2. Oh my god.
Yeah, it is so much fun. Like, you dive from buildings, you can just stop yourself and start web swinging. You can jolt yourself forward with the web swing, or like a web, what would you call that? Not like a
web zip.
Yeah, zip.
Yeah.
So a web zip, and then your swinging gets faster as you go along in the game because there's a level up system, and we'll explain a little bit about that here in a bit. But the swinging is just so sweet. Just doing that alone was a lot of fun.
While we talk about this, everyone says that the best, before this game came out, everyone said altogether pretty much the average poll would tell you that the only good swinging in any of the Spider-Man games was Spider-Man 2 had the best swinging.
Yeah, I remember that actually because I played that game. That's where you had to fight Shocker underground.
Yep.
In the tunnel, and that's the only thing I remember.
One of the only ones where they actually used momentum and physics in the swings.
Yeah.
And they haven't ever done that again until this last one recently. And they actually had the original developer of the Spider-Man 2 swing play the new one when it came out. And even he was super impressed with the swinging.
Nice.
So the king of making the swing was impressed by the new swing.
And the swinging is so much fun. Like, that just half the fun in the game is just like swinging around, zipping around, doing incredible stunts when you get more abilities unlocked, and just... It is so much fun, and as you level up, you get faster at it, you get better at it. There's an ability that lets you zip twice without losing momentum. Mm-hmm. It is just so fucking fun. That is, like, by far the best part of the game is the swinging around.
Yeah, zipping yourself, then slingshotting yourself. Honestly, like, there is fast travel in this game, but you probably won't use it very often.
Yeah, the fast travel is completely fucking worthless.
But the fast travel is funny.
It is funny, but it's so dumb. You go from, like, the only point that it's worth it if you're up in, like, Harlem and you want to go
it's like way back.
Yeah. So The only reason you would do it is if you're super over 2,000 meters away. Otherwise, it's the same amount of time it takes to swing 1,500 meters that it is to fast travel.
Maybe someone needs to take a bite of their food or take a drink of their water while it travels by itself.
The in-between for the fast travels are really funny. You're on the subway and you're like either talking to some random homeless dude or you're jamming out with like this thing with this other person.
So yeah, Spider-Man's always in costume just on the subway. What the greatest thing is partway through the game when one of the military people takes over the city and he's kind of on the cusp of being caught. Every time you fast travel, he's actually on the outside of the train. He's
just
hanging
on
on the
cell
edge,
phone.
or just or on top texting, or
and he must have a cool glove because he can do it with his glove on.
Yeah,
so he's got sweet gloves.
It's pretty much standard nowadays.
Yeah, but the fast travel was worthless, guys. I will say that this is not a game that fast travel is very useful. I don't like that there's a loading screen in between fast travels in an open world concept. That seems really silly to me.
Yeah,
but. Well, whatever. I mean, I don't know anything about game making, so maybe they couldn't do any other way.
Probably.
There's a cool little level up system in here. I think your max level in there is 50.
Yes.
I don't know about the DLC. I didn't get to the DLC, but the level up system, like as you level up, you improve your melee damage, your swing speed, there was something else, your health, your focus meters, because you have these meters that you build up as you hit combos. And you can use them to heal, or you can use them to use finishers, or cool stuff like that. But they also have like a cool gear thing where you get this extra, like a web slinger that's a little bit stronger than your first web slinger.
Yep.
You get a little robot dude that follows you around and shoots energy beams.
Spider drone.
Yeah, you get a shocking web. You get like all this sweet stuff. An anti-grav web, which was really sweet. I love using that thing.
And honestly, a lot of these suit upgrades and stuff you can make are just insanely awesome. Like one of the best ones in the entire game is there's a bunch of suit upgrades to build focus, which building focus is really important to using all of your abilities and stuff. But one of the best things that you can do is there's one that if you're juggling enemy in the air, when you land, it shoots an electrical shock. It charges up an electrical shock and sparks out everywhere. Really great for horde situations like those warehouse battles and stuff like that.
I use the Doc Ock one.
Oh, yeah.
So you have a spider suit that lets you like spring out 4 mechanical arms from your back, and it just fucks everyone up. And no one can touch you. You're doing too much damage. It's like I think it's best for DPS, obviously.
Yeah, that one or there's the melee fighting Spider-Man suit that's got like the shocking punches.
It's sweet. I love those suits so much. Yeah, and you can do suits like unlock new suits that have new abilities, and you can mix and match your favorite suit with a different ability that you have unlocked. So they're not restricting you to wearing that suit to use that ability, which was pretty cool. Yeah, I really like that about the game.
You really can pick exactly the kind of Spider-Man you want to play.
Yeah.
If you like Scarlet Spider, play a Scarlet Spider. Play the exact way Ben Reilly would play it. If you want to play like Iron Spider and play with the Iron Spider arms and stuff, play with that on. Like every costume in this game is sweet, and I definitely recommend playing with all the different costumes.
For sure. And it's weird in this game because there's an unlock thing with this. So you have to unlock these powers and stuff, but you have to go through like all this weird stuff. There's extra stuff in the game like conquering bases that are held by Kingpin or Sable, which is a military organization, or the demons, and then I think Taskmaster has his own too at a later time in the game. So you have all these base opportunities to get those. There's challenge coins to unlock. You have to do challenges by Taskmaster, and then you get challenge coins to unlock suits. You can do. There was other research stations that you do for Harry.
There's the
Osborn.
This has the mechanic just like Assassin's Creed and other open world game of the towers and taking over the Oscorp towers so you can get surveillance to open up other things on the map. Yeah,
it's pretty sweet. It is really sweet. There's side missions you can do, which are kind of funny. If they like capture 12 pigeons, that's one of your side missions.
That's one of the really most annoying but hard missions.
Oh, that was
so fun though.
It is so fun. It's so easy too. You just like jump on top. You do it once, you see where it goes in the first 10 seconds, you let it go away, and then you do it again, and then you go exactly where it's gonna go and you capture it. It's so easy.
Or you test your skills and you just swing after it.
Yeah, sure. But you can do it so much easier if you just do it my way.
Yeah, your way is way easier.
It was just, I don't know. The extras in this game were actually fun. I actually did enjoy going through them, doing like the boss battles and stuff, or the base battles and stuff. And
the best thing about it was just, again, it's the mechanics of this game. The mechanics of this game make this game so much.
Yeah.
Let alone that the story is beautiful and amazing in itself.
And I think it's a 1-to-1 with New York. It's like a 1-to-1 dimension, so it's exactly the size of New York City would be, which is pretty sweet in itself. So you can go, well, not the whole New York City. You're just on Manhattan Island, but.
And I guess while we're talking about the map and the world and stuff like that, let's talk about like Easter eggs in this.
Easter eggs. Which Easter eggs?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. There's Stark Tower. There's Avengers Tower. There's
they do
Wakanda Embassy.
Yeah.
Like so much of the MCU stuff is in this game.
Yeah, that's one of the extra things you can do too.
Cool.
You take pictures of all these places, so you get to see them. That's kind of like the whole point of it. But the Avengers never show up.
No.
Kind of shitty. No. I was always like, man, they're going to show up because Taskmaster shows up. And I'm like, that is not a Spider-Man central foe.
He's fought him a few times.
Yeah, but he's not central, so I expected like, oh, maybe another hero will show up that normally fights him. But nope, no one else showed up.
Taskmaster has a lot of he's a big part of like the Sable kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And just a big part of Spider-Man's story. And I liked how much they brought so many villains into this game, but it didn't feel too much.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was really well paced. I thought the amount of villains was perfect, like the nostalgia with it all. And they didn't hit the big ones because that's coming in the next one.
Yeah. So the point of this game is you start 8 years after you become Spider-Man.
Yep.
So it's 8 years later. You're graduated from college. You're working as a scientist for Dr. Octavius on his limb program to give artificial limbs to people. And
you can see where this is going if you're a fan of Spider-Man.
Well, so I thought maybe because it's also not in the regular Spider-Man universe. It's in the Miles Morales universe.
Yes.
So in the Miles Morales universe, Spider-Man ends up dying way later, but he doesn't die in this one. You're fighting you're not fighting him. You're working for Dr. Octavius, and I thought maybe in this universe he doesn't become Doc Ock.
Oh,
I was like, maybe he's cool because he was pretty cool in the beginning.
Oh no, and it really does make you feel that way. You actually like start seeing a really good bond with Peter and Otto.
Yeah.
Like the amount that Peter really wants to help, and Otto in this world actually has a disease.
A neurological disease that makes his muscles not work.
Which is why he's doing the limb program.
Yeah, so he can be a real boy and just continue to walk like a normal boy.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't know, it's weird because then also there's no Green Goblin at this point. And I think Harry's going to become the Green Goblin based on...
Nope.
No, you don't think so?
It's definitely Norman.
You think so?
Yeah, I think
At the end of the game, though, they showed that little clip.
We'll get to the end of the game, but at the end of the game, they showed Norman talking to Harry inside of a tube.
Yeah,
Harry was surrounded by the black symbiote.
Oh, was he? Was that what that was?
That was Venom.
Okay,
so
interesting.
There is multiple comic book storylines where Harry actually started out as Venom.
Interesting.
So I'm pretty sure that the second game is going to have Harry as Venom, Norman as Green Goblin, and then we're going to have someone else I'll bring up later.
Yeah. So you go through the game. Basically, you're helping out the cops because you're Spider Cop, which was really during the thing. Like in the beginning, he's like, "Are you saying you need another cop on the case? Maybe Spider Cop." And it's just he changes his voice while he's talking to the police chief because she's got his number somehow.
Yep. Yuri Watanabe.
Yeah. It's so funny because he's like, Spider Cop is on the case, and she's like, don't fucking do this again. Please don't do this.
All of the Spider Cop quips and all of the shit about Spider Cop is seriously the best. I'll post a compilation of it later.
Yeah. And it's really funny. It is really good. But you start out this game trying to take down Fisk, and you move on. We're not going to,
those who don't know who Fisk is, sorry to interrupt,
no, you're good.
Is Kingpin.
Yeah.
William
I guess
Fisk.
I didn't even think about that, yeah.
Yeah.
So Kingpin, you take him down, and we're not going to go too in-depth, I think, on the story. It's really long, and there's a lot of little bullshit things in it. But
we can give general.
Yeah, very general. Your Aunt May works for a dude called Martin Lee in a homeless shelter, and then Fisk goes to jail, and Martin Lee apparently is a bad guy. He's Mr. Negative, and which was funny because Jameson in this has a podcast instead of being the
which
head
is
editor.
So great.
Yeah, and so he's constantly talking shit about Spider-Man, and one of the things he says is, "This guy's really negative." Wait a second, Mr. Negative, is that trademarked? Yeah, make sure you get it trademarked. We started that. So some people are calling him Mr. Negative. It's just the funniest bullshit. He's such an asshole.
James Jonah Jameson in this game is so perfect.
He doesn't make an appearance. He's just on the podcast, like in your ear, because I think you have like a little transmitter in your ear. So that's all he does, but it's pretty funny. He does make a little, like every time you go to a mission, your podcast stops. But I started like getting close to the mission, stopping and listening to the rest of what he had to say because it was just funny.
So honestly, a lot of the things that he said was just so great. And honestly, there's a YouTube video out on Game Theory right now, and it's all about, was James Jonah Jameson right? Of all the things that he was saying about Spider-Man, and it talks about all the millions of damage and stuff that was caused during all the Spider-Man fights and stuff like that. It's a really good video if you guys haven't seen it.
Yeah, and I mean, he crashes a subway through the roof of a fucking open street, so I think it does cost a lot of money.
Let alone when he tied up the helicopter
when he destroyed
in the middle of the air like 50 100 feet up in the air,
5 or 6 buildings.
Well, it wasn't Spider-Man. He stopped it.
He stopped it. He was there though.
And one of the things that I really think is cool is they really paid attention to the detail with Spider-Man as a character.
Yeah,
he was the quippiest he could be. All the stuff with Spider-Cop we've mentioned before, he just had a bunch of quips in the middle of his fights and stuff. Yeah. He was just really funny, and he was a really confident Spider-Man. And it was really cool to see that confident Spider-Man and just how cocky he was.
Well, and then Peter's not very confident.
No.
And you can tell that while he's talking to other people.
Especially MJ.
Yeah. So, Mr. Sinister, Mr.
Negative.
Yeah, Mr. Negative becomes a villain, and it turns out that he was a villain all along because Norman Osborn turned him into Mr. Negative by trying to use a cure to cure his son Harry, who has a disease. That's why he has a symbiote near him, probably. It's just a whole big fucking storyline that to really get it, you have to go in depth and play the game and really pay attention. So we're not going to focus, again, too much on trying to bring it across. Just how amazing this game is, and especially the story. It's a lot of fun. And one of the things I liked, and I thought about this throughout the whole game until it happened, was, man, it really sucks that I don't get to fight Rhino, and I don't get to fight Vulture, and I don't get to fight Shocker, and I don't get to fight Electro, and then when Doc Ock becomes Doc Ock, he releases them all from the raft, which is their super.
It's Alcatraz, right? It's on Riker Island.
Yeah. Well, no, it's separate.
It's separate.
They made a completely new island.
I forgot.
Yeah. It's like a man-made fucking on the Hudson, just sitting there, and it's fucked. And they make it for supervillains. And Doc Ock breaks in and gives everyone their stuff back. Rhino's stuck in his suit, I think, so he was never out of his suit.
But he gives them all upgrades, basically. He gives Electro a new electric pack that gives him better, more electric power.
Because he wants to become pure energy. You figure out, they're all working with Doc Ock because he's a fucking genius. And he promised, to get Rhino out of his suit because Rhino's been wanting to get out. He figured out a way to do that. And then he promised to make Electro into pure energy, which he gets pretty fucking close to.
Vulture was dying of
from spinal cancer. Because of the
suit.
Yeah, because of the suit. And then Scorpion had a bunch of gambling debt and wanted his crime expunged. And Doc Ock did that for him. It's crazy how nice Doc Ock was.
No, seriously. Villains. And Doc Ock did. And this came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
For the people who have never played this game, this came out of nowhere. You were just sitting there, all of a sudden, you start seeing all these signs of maybe Otto's going to become Dr. Octopus. He becomes Dr. Octopus, then he breaks everyone out, and then all of a sudden, you're on the top of this prison, and all the Sinister Six are on top of you, about ready to kill you.
Fuck you.
And Otto picks you up and is like, stay away, and just throws you, basically.
And he knows, too, so he knows you're Spider-Man. He knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It's crazy how many people know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man in this game. He's not very good at hiding his identity.
No, he's always so obvious with it. It's one of the things that's always been a problem with him. But the other thing I was going to say with the attention to character about him, too, is really cool, is he never kills.
Yeah, well,
so even
he says that, and then you knock people off of buildings. He's like, I didn't kill him.
Yes, but if you see it, I don't know if you've noticed this. Every time you knock somebody off a building, you also shoot a web, and the web catches them and attaches them to the side of the building.
No, because in the ones that I killed, they just fall off. They're
the developer actually said that they put that in there.
I didn't notice that at all.
I didn't notice it at first until I found that out, and then I would actually kick someone off, and then I went to go look, and I was like, oh shit, he is, he's just there.
Oh, nice. I just thought it would be funny because it's like, man, I'm just knocking bitches off of buildings because I did that with the random college students too that turn evil, and you're like, wow, I just killed 15 college students.
Well, and it was funny because there was one guy who found out that you the first person, one of the first people that found out that, and like streamers or whatever, he decided it would be kind of funny. He's like, fine, if I can't kill people that way. So we webbed up like 5 guys to a vehicle that was flipped over.
Yeah.
And then he flipped it over so the vehicle squished all of them. And he's like, I bet they didn't survive that.
Listen, I just webbed their noses, their mouths, and their anuses. There's no way they can breathe now. And I guess we should say that Mr. Negative does all this stuff because he wants to get revenge on Norman, and Doc Ock, Otto Octavius, is Norman's old lab partner.
Yes.
So they started Oscorp together, and then he's like, how do you think they got the name Oscorp? I'm like, because his last name's fucking Osborne. What do you mean, where did they get the name? Well, okay, but mine is Octavius. I'm like, it doesn't sound anything like that.
I don't know.
It was so weird that he said that. I'm like, are you fucking stupid?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a mix between the two.
Because they called them the 2 O's or something. Like, and it was stupid. They were like, how do you think we got Oscorp? I'm like, the other guy has an O in his name too, jackass. He just has nothing to fucking do with you. Stop trying to take credit. You're just being an asshole right now.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and so that he doesn't want to work for Oscorp, and Norman wants him back because he is a genius. He is really he's a fucking genius. But and it's sweet, but that's kind of why he turns evil, because the neural implant, when he does the stupid chip or the
chip breaks, which they don't even
it doesn't even break. It just
malfunctions.
Yeah, it's just like it's bad from the beginning, and he didn't care because his body is giving up on him. Yeah, so which I get it. He doesn't want to be a paraplegic or whatever, but he definitely chose the wrong route, I want to say.
But yeah, then Otto also during this time was working with Mr. Negative to get this demon's breath or devil's breath.
Devil's breath. It's like it was supposed to be a cure for Norman's wife and Harry's disease, because they have like a genetic. It's a genetic. It's the same thing. Genetic neurological disease of some kind. The wife is dead at this point, so he's just working on it to cure the son. And he did find something that would cure it, but it also kills all your healthy cells. Yeah. So because of that, it just kills everyone, and it has a really high infectious rate, which it was really surreal watching that, because I'm like, that's what's happening now. Right. But it was funny. It was funny because they said that like it kills your cells, and I'm like, why are people coughing then?
I don't know.
Somebody was like Aunt May was coughing up blood because she got infected, because they end up releasing it eventually. Yeah. And then they have to make a cure. But I was just like, why is she coughing up blood? I don't understand what's happening here. Yeah, no, that was pretty bad. It was really sad seeing Aunt May getting sick. And you go through the game, you defeat the Sinister Six, and it's cool because you defeat the first 4 in duos, which I thought that was really cool.
It's Electro and Vulture, and then Rhino and Scorpion.
Yeah, and Rhino and Scorpion were the most fun.
Oh, yeah.
Because Electro and Vulture were kind of fun, but Rhino and Scorpion were definitely, Well,
and then one of the first times you encounter Scorpion, too, is really fun because he hits you with that poison.
Oh, yeah, and you're poisoned, and you have to, not go into the webs, and giant scorpion tails come out, and it's fucked.
It's the weirdest mind trip kind of scene, but honestly, a lot of times I love games when they do that, when they have that one level or that one segment that's just a drug trippy scene. Like Far Cry does it the best of any games, but this was really cool.
I will say some of the extra stuff in this game are really painful to do. Yeah. One thing is you have to do these weird upgrades in the Otto's lab. So you have to match genetic markers, and you have to change, I can't even think, circuitry. Yeah. Basically. And it's just boring. I didn't even finish it. I was so bored.
I like the circuitry, but
it's not fun. It's not fun. It's that fucking game of pipes where you're trying to get the water from the pipe to the next pipe. It's just not a
exactly
fun
the
thing.
Game of pipes.
And then that, and the fucking switching to MJ and Miles. Oh God, it was so annoying. So
those were the hardest levels.
Yeah, you have to switch to, but they're not hard. They're just annoying. They're fucking dumb, and they don't make any sense for what you're doing. So the first one you do is MJ, and it's in the museum, which kind of made sense. She kind of just walked in and said, "I have a meeting," and then she's like, "You don't have a meeting?" She's like, "I guess I'll
call Craig.
I'll just call. Hey, this bitch doesn't want to meet with me." And you end up meeting with her, and then you have to sneak past. Like, the whole point of this is you sneak past people. Yeah. Like, you're just stealthing, and that's all you're doing is stealthing. Yeah. But in the first one, like with MJ, there's a part where you go to, what's his name? What's the other bad guy's name? He's the motorcycle one. The motorcycle game. Tombstone. So you go to Tombstone's warehouse, and you're
that was the worst one for MJ.
It's so dumb, because how did she get in there? It doesn't even explain how she got in.
No,
she's just inside when you switch to her, and she's like, I gotta be sneaky. And then you're like, what did I flash my tits to get in here? How the hell did I get in here?
Well, it's one of those things too. Like that's another thing I love. Like the main focus of the game was a Sinister Six, but then you still have stuff like Taskmaster, and Screwball,
and Tombstone, yeah, which I thought was sweet. The Tombstone one's in there, but it was just the MJ part of it made no fucking sense.
And honestly, the hardest, the level I had the most trouble with was Miles when he was with Rhino.
Oh, I love that, actually. That was my favorite.
That was an amazing level.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was fun, but it was the one I got stuck on because I don't know why. I had a little bit of trouble with that level.
It was really easy, I thought, because I just got used to doing the sneaking because of how much sneaking I did.
Yeah.
But the Rhino, I thought that was so cool, like having him just smash things looking for you while you're sneaking around. I was like, this is fucking sweet. That was the only one I liked.
Yeah.
All the others, I was like, why am I sneaking around?
Yeah.
Why am I trying? I watched my dad get blown up because you watched Miles' dad dies in this one, Jefferson
Davis.
Yeah, Jefferson Davis, the same name as the president of the fuck. What are they during the Civil War? The Confederacy. The president Jefferson Davis was the president of the Confederacy.
Sorry, I was like, what are you talking about?
So the Jefferson Davis, Mr. President, is on stage and gets blown up. Like everyone sees a bomb explode right next to his fucking face, and his son's like, I gotta go help my dad. And I'm like, your dad's dead. He's down.
So that's Miles Morales' stepdad?
Yeah.
Or they is his dad, but his mom didn't take his name or something because they're both Moraleses. Because she's Rio Morales, he's Miles Morales.
Yeah, it's definitely his dad.
Yeah.
Because he was like, listen, honey, I don't want this kid. He's taking your fucking last name. And then he had the best sex that he's ever had. I guess I'll stick around for a bit.
for now. Yeah. No, and Jefferson Davis, the stuff with Spider-Man at the beginning, like I love that when Spider-Man's like wanting to go in this building and Jefferson Davis like, well, you might want one of these warrants for that. And, and then Spider-Man's like, does that warrant let us break down doors? And he's like, not with a lot more paperwork. Can we not drink the door?
And then you get to do a little mission with Jefferson Davis, and that's kind of why you're at the party that gets blown up because Norman's hosting it. Mr. Negative wants to blow it up. Otto Octavius wants to blow it up. Like everyone wants to blow it up because everybody hates Norman, including you. You hate Norman actually too. Yeah, he is a complete asshole because he makes you public enemy number one, even though you didn't do shit.
Yeah. So Norman hires Sable, which I never remember the name of this country that Sable's from.
Yeah, it's like a mercenary group, kind of that does personal protection,
which they are
to overthrow governments too, or help not overthrow governments.
Like all the stuff you're fighting in the game beforehand, you're like, this is so easy, and then you get to Sable, and you're like, well, this got a lot harder.
So before we move on to Sable, let me finish my thought on MJ stuff. So the MJ stuff is really boring, guys. And if you're going to play this game, I'm so sorry. This stuff is not fun at all. It's just you sneaking past people and them not hearing you. And you're like, I am right between two people and their backs are just turned. How do they not fucking hear me? And I'm whispering like, gotta get past this. I'm like, why am I saying that out loud? It's just the dumbest, stupidest shit with the sneaking around. It's not fun at all.
Yeah, I don't know why a lot of games feel like they have to have stealth sections. Yeah, and honestly, like
they're worthless characters.
If they would have left that first one with MJ, and then that one with Miles,
I think that
probably would have been good.
Yeah,
and then maybe the one where she goes to that to the guy for the cure.
Yeah.
Like that one wasn't too bad either. In the Sable camp,
none of them were like too bad. It's just annoying that they do that, and then you're just like, wow, this is really unfulfilling.
Yeah.
How did I get in here? How am I breaking into the secure military? I'm a fucking journalist. I have no powers.
She does what Iris West and Lois Lane does every I don't know what it is with these reporter girlfriends.
They're always able to do amazing things that even the best international spies can't fucking do.
Like seriously, like I don't know what it is. I need to have just a YouTube video just about female superhero girlfriend reporters.
Yeah, they're just
and all the ridiculous shit that they do because it's like, so crazy.
I'm actually in the Nazi stronghold. I killed Hitler already. What? How?
I turned on this and I got Superman to join us.
Yeah, what? It's just insane. It's so insane. I did like the one when you're in the Grand Central Station.
Oh, I love
just
that.
Just because Spider-Man was your partner at that point, and that made more sense. Cool. Because you're like, okay, I'm going to distract him by throwing something, and then I'm going to have Spider-Man grab the one that's distracted. Like that made a lot of sense.
It was cool because that was the teamwork.
Yeah.
The shot calling teamwork, you telling Spider-Man what to do in those situations, like that was so really cool. And I gotta say, because we're talking about MJ a lot.
Yeah. You're broken up with her, by the way, at this point.
You broke up 6 months before the start of the game.
You haven't talked to her, and for some reason you start talking again.
Yeah. That's because he's perpetually in love with MJ.
He's like, what do I do? I love it when they're texting back and forth. It's the weirdest fucking thing. Right before this, she's like, hey, we really need to talk about this. You know, we're gonna talk about this for sure. And then he texts her like, hey, dinner tonight, your place, I'll cook. We can talk. She's like, I don't know if I'm ready, Peter. I'm like, you just fucking said we need to talk. What do you mean you don't know if you're ready? And then Peter's like, it's over, by the way, and he meant with the big villain or whatever. Yeah. And she's like, she starts freaking over? Out. Really? He's like, no, over with the villain, not with that. I'm like, God, this is such a typical woman. Typical fucking woman right here.
Yeah, no, it was great. And the first time you have dinner with him is actually where you get our Stan Lee cameo. Oh,
yeah, I forgot about that. That was fun, yeah.
Yeah, he works at Mick's Diner.
Is it Mick's Diner?
Mick's Diner,
yeah. Because he's like, I'm so glad to see you two back together, even though they're not.
You're the best couple that's ever. It was just so great.
It was humbling. I liked it.
And honestly, anytime you go back and see a Stan Lee cameo after his death,
yeah,
it's just so good.
It makes you feel good.
Oh, it does. It makes you so happy.
It was adorable. Yeah.
Especially because I don't think he's been in any games before.
No, he has.
Or he has?
I think it was in the original Spider-Man's too.
Oh, he might have.
Because he that's when he started cameoing really big.
Well, I guess it was cool in this one because it was a motion capture.
Yeah. It was really,
it was a really good looking one.
Yeah, and it was obviously his voice, so it was really sweet that they did that. But yeah, let's talk about Sable. Let's talk about this dumb piece of shit character that is her name Sable? It was Silver?
Silver Sable.
Oh my god,
she's Silver Sable. The organization is Sable.
Yeah, so she's the head of the organization,
yes.
You would say?
Yeah.
But they don't listen to her.
No.
Okay.
At all.
She is like the weirdest fucking character. She hates you. She
so much
fucking hates you throughout the whole game, and there's no reason for it. So it's like, just whatever, it's hate, and that's fine. But then you're like, she's aiming 2 guns at you after you just like took out 20 of her guys, and she's like, I'm gonna kill you. And he's like, wait, don't kill me. We can work together. And she's like, you make a good point. And I'm like, what? What do you mean you make a good point? Wait, no, you didn't say anything. He's so
powerful. That's why he makes a good point.
No, it was stupid. And then she starts falling in love with him pretty much.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Like, it happens instantly. It doesn't happen like in a 2-minute or 2-week period. It happens like over minutes. Because she's like, I'll take out the ones outside. You go rescue my client. And then you don't do that. You get hit really bad by Doc Ock. And she comes in. She's like, oh my God, he's dying. We have to help him. I'm like, you were trying to kill him 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago. What shifted? What changed?
She cared more about the charming,
charismatic
Spider-Man.
I'm gonna jump that bone
over the money that Oscorp was paying.
It was so stupid. And then she calls you later on. She's like, I changed my mind, but I couldn't get the rest of the guys to change theirs. You're the leader. You're the worst leader ever. It was just so dumb. It was so out of place. It made no sense to happen that fast. And they made things happen really fast in that game.
There was times where it was a little fast.
Yeah.
I liked how fast-paced some of it was. There was a little bit of...
I mean, like, not like fast-paced as the action. I mean the story. So do you remember the hideout you have to invade? That's where you find out what Doc Ock did for all the Sinister Six. So the point that he made that hideout and the point he became Doc Ock, 24 hours. That's how long it was. So he made an entire hideout, built it all up in the building right next to the place where he was doing the canister breaking in 24 hours.
You don't think he was working on it beforehand?
No, it even said he wasn't. He was in the game. It said he must open this up after he rescued the Sinister Six. And it literally said during that blackout 24 hours later.
Oh, because I thought there was another spot where it went like 1 month later.
No. Well, it was a week later, and it was after he got injured, I think.
Okay.
But it was 24 hours later for that, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, are you fucking kidding me?
The things that he did with his arm, like even in the movies, things that he did with his arms, he could create massive stuff really quickly.
24 hours, come on, man. He's doing a lot.
He also has all the demons.
He does. But
that is a big amount of people.
And nobody's like, there's a lot of people en masse moving things into this apartment. Maybe we should call somebody.
It's New York. Just, no one calls every time they see something crazy. It just happens.
It was just insane how quickly this stuff happened. The Sable thing, and I think they were really trying to fit so much into this game, and maybe that's why they did it.
Well, and I think because you really can control the pace, like in between moments and stuff. I really thought you were gonna like do a big story mission, then do a bunch of stuff, and do a big story mission. Yeah. And so
but a lot of what I did was I finished all the side stuff early, and then I just did story.
Yeah, so when you're just doing story, it blows quickly. Yeah. Like you get through the game pretty quickly. I think it honestly, if you're just doing story, it'll probably take you about 12 hours to complete the game. It's like 20 to 25 hours if you're trying to complete everything.
You know what was funny too is when you're in you get injured by Doc Ock, right? In that first fight with him, and then a doctor is like, we need to get you to a hospital. And you're like, no, feast. And I'm like, no, hospital. No, hospital. He's like, feast. And feast is the homeless shelter your aunt runs. And then he goes, the doctor brings you there. And he's like, I need to talk to your head doctor. I'm like, this isn't a hospital. This is a homeless shelter.
Still, though.
No.
Spider-Man can't ever go to there because then people know his identity.
No, he was in the hospital before that.
No,
that was that week skip because what's her face?
Oh, well, he didn't go in as Spider-Man though.
No, he did. Yuri brought him to the hospital as Spider-Man, and he was under her protection. This was after
but he stayed under the mask.
Yeah. And so I'm like, so he obviously goes to fucking hospitals.
Well, he probably knew they were gonna have to remove the costume for the.
And they wouldn't at that feast?
I don't know.
And then he's funny because he's like, I need everything that's sterile. And I would have been like, this is a homeless shelter, not a hospital. I'm going to give you these scissors I used to trim a homeless man's beard. Here you go. Fucking good luck. And then he didn't do anything. This is the best part, is nothing happened. And then he goes, he's going to be okay, but he'll need rest. Like, you didn't do anything.
Well, he does have his healing factor.
He does have his healing factor, but he
probably would be okay.
A lot.
I know.
And his suit is still on. And he's like, I've done everything I can. I looked at his suit. It looks great. I think he's going to be fine.
One of the things I gotta say, from the first time he rips his suit at the beginning of the game, when he is about to debut the new Sony Spider-Man costume, which is fucking sweet, by the way. I love the white accents to it. But one of the things that's really cool is he gets a cut on his chest, and he's like, oh, man, people will be able to see my 3 chest hairs.
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
And the funniest thing, there's a costume you can unlock in the game. I think it's for doing everything, and it's just Spider-Man in his Spider-Man boxers.
Yeah.
And if you zoom in on the character, he has 3 chest hairs. The developer actually made that joke, and they can make it coincide later.
I like that. And they also, during that mission where you get poisoned by Scorpion at the end of it, you're like, where are my clothes? You're naked after you finally get cured.
Yeah, that was really...
It was just funny. And the whole game as a whole was good. Just these little things that I'm like, why the fuck did they do this? So anyway, through the story, you end up finding a cure for Devil's Breath, and then Doc Ock takes it, and you have to make one final confrontation with Doc Ock and Mr. Negative, and you fight Mr. Negative. Doc Ock comes in, defeats you, severely injures you. You visit a doctor at a homeless shelter. They don't do anything for you. You just magically heal. Yeah. And then you go fight Doc Ock again. And then it does the dumbest thing. It's like a training montage because you have to go and create a new suit to fight Doc Ock, a better suit. But you do that And like in a training montage, it'll show them like pumping iron and running through, like in Rocky, they're running up the steps or whatever. And in his, it just shows like pieces of paper with the formulas on it passing by his face. And I'm just like, what kind of shit montage is this?
This is a genius montage. Yeah, just the mental montage.
Yeah, and then you go out and you're in your new suit. Which the new suit's the worst montage ever. How long did it take him to build that? Jesus. Yeah, I 3D printed this. And it's still in Otto's lab, and all of his equipment's still there, even though he left. I'm like, why didn't he bring any of his stuff with him?
I don't know.
It's the dumbest plot point there. But then you go and fight Doc Ock.
And maybe because he knew Osborn would have been able to track it.
Maybe.
Because it was all his equipment.
No, he got new equipment. Remember, he called in all new favors and all this crap because Osborn took all his equipment.
Yeah.
So then he fights Doc Ock, which was a fucking sweet fight.
That fight on the side, when it goes to the side of the building and he's just wailing on him and like... Can't
Otto use his web shooters anymore.
Yeah, Otto breaks his web shooters, and then Otto's like tells him that he knows that he's Peter, and he's sitting there like, I loved you. Yeah, and I cherished you.
Yeah, I'm like, Spider-Man, you're being a little bitch right now. You can cut it out.
I was getting so emotional at this part of the game. Oh my god,
it sounds so forced. I loved you.
No, it was amazing. It was almost as good to me, if not equally as good as Obi-Wan and Anakin's fight in the third Star Wars movie.
I thought about that too as you're doing it. And then he has the high ground. I'm like, oh shit, I just lost. In it though, it's weird because he's really like that, and so during that, I'm like, man, they should have changed this game to Spider-Man: The Ballad of Peter and Otto. Because that's what it really feels like. Just, you were like a father to me. I was going to make love to you. But now you're evil.
It was literally like the reverse of Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Yeah.
It was, you were my mentor. I cherished you.
Yeah.
You're so brilliant.
And it's the weirdest thing going down. You're punching him. You're my mentor. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I cherished you. Now I'm beating you to death, motherfucker.
Knocks him off the edge of the building. Otto's arms aren't working anymore.
Yeah.
He's finally like kind of coming to-ish a little bit.
Well, and I don't think he is. I think he was always crazy.
He's still crazy.
So he's like laying there,
but he's
can't
pretending
move.
that he's not.
Yeah, and he's like, I know your identity, Peter. I could tell everyone. And Peter's like,
do what you want.
do what you want. And then he starts walking away, and he's like, Peter, no.
Peter!
Can you at least call me a cab? Because she can't move.
If they take me to prison, Peter, they'll take away my arms.
Oh, yeah, that was just such a dumb part. And I was like, oh, what, are they going to, like your legs and your arms too? Your real arms? They're going to take it all away. They're going to make sure you can never do anything again. Let's do it.
And then we get to the saddest part of the game, the part that I rewatched last night, and I still fucking cried.
MJ and Peter get back together. Saddest part of the game. I agree.
Well, I'll talk to you more about that when we get to the DLC too, because that's going to be hilarious.
Is that in the DLC?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's more about their relationship.
Go to the
DLC,
saddest part of the game.
So,
oh yeah,
Aunt May's sick
was hilarious.
Fuck you.
I'll tell you why it's hilarious.
Okay. So Aunt May's got. We already said that Aunt May was coughing up blood. She was hit with the devil's breath.
Yeah. So the devil, and it's super infectious. That's why all these people, which is weird because you never get it, and MJ never gets it, and Lyles never gets it.
Spider-Man's wearing a mask.
Okay. And it's weird. It is a virus because it's a man-made virus.
So Spider-Man, he's in the room. The guy has the cure in his hands. The doctor that made it.
They only made one of it though, right?
Yes, he had only had one before, and he tells Spider-Man that he can either cure one person right now. Basically, he can cure Aunt May right now, or he can use the cure to make more cures to cure the rest of the city.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man goes and he lays by Aunt May's bed.
It's so funny.
I think I know where you're going with this.
You'll see.
Goes and lays by her bed, and this is one of the best moments because he's sitting there and he's like, I don't know what to do. And Aunt May's like, yes, you do. And then he just kneels down and he starts crying. And he's holding Aunt May, and Aunt May's like, take off your mask. I want to see my nephew one last time. And he's like, you knew? And she's like, I've known for a while. And he's like, I didn't want you to worry.
That's why I'm like, he's really bad at keeping a secret.
Yeah.
He keeps his normal voice too, when he's like, okay,
I know.
man.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you need to get a voice modulator or something, because everybody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Miles should have figured that out the minute he met you.
Probably, but
Miles
he wasn't
stupid.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
He had a lot of shit going on.
Yeah.
But so he ends up not giving the cure to Aunt May so he can save the city, which is the best thing to do, the thing that Spider-Man should do.
Yeah.
But then Aunt May dies, and then you get the funeral scene where she gets buried next to Ben Parker.
Yeah, which was adorable.
It was.
But it was
so
hilarious when she was like, I want to see my nephew. I just want her to be like, take off your mask. I want to see you, Ben Affleck. And then he takes it off. You're not Ben Affleck. No. Peter, why would you do this to me?
Why didn't you think it was Ben Affleck? I don't know. I thought I could do anything.
Muscular. You don't look like that with your normal clothes on. It's just,
wear tighter shirts.
I wanted her to be such a dick at the end. I wanted it so bad.
But yeah, I've played the game 3 times and I've watched it another time and I still cry every fucking time Aunt May
It just
dies.
made me laugh so hard because she is such an unlikable character.
For people who have worshipped Spider-Man as much as I have, Aunt May dying, I think this is the first time Aunt May's ever died in anything I've ever seen or read. So Aunt May dying to me was drastic.
Yeah. And it was sad. It was stupid too. Did you notice though during the game you get evicted from your apartment?
Yep.
And Aunt May gives you $300.
Yep.
And I'm like, in New York City, bitch, you think this is gonna buy me anything?
Earlier, before she gave him the money, she's like, "Do you?" Because he's trying to distract her from them setting up a party for her because she's had 5 years to the feast center. She's like, do you need help? And he's like, Well, I am falling a little bit behind on rent. So he just said falling a little bit behind on rent. So I'm guessing she was just giving him some money to.
This was after she knew he was evicted.
Oh,
because he stayed at the fee shelter.
Oh yeah.
So, and then she gave him $300.
I forgot.
And I was like, that's not even close to a down payment on a fucking New York City.
It's probably all she had.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like
my rent's $6,000 a month, grandma or aunt. What the hell are you fucking doing? Thanks for the $300. I'll go buy myself a taco in New York City.
The Parkers have always been poor.
I know. It's funny to me. It's just funny because it's New York City and I know it's not cheap to live there.
Oh, yeah.
$300 is going to do shit for you.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go. And it was just funny. I'm like, why the fuck you give? You might as well give nothing at that point.
Yeah.
And I get you was trying to be helpful.
And then we get a funny scene there too, because Peter, when he's talking about staying at the feast center, or no, he's going to stay with Miles before he gets to his new place.
Yeah.
And Mary Jane's like, you could just stay with me.
Shack up with me if you know what I'm saying.
And he's like, what? I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
If you want me to do that. And she's like,
I've always wanted to.
No. She gives him the fuck me eyes.
She does.
She's like, I do.
But
I just snuck around in my own apartment and I did a good job doing it.
She said, I've always wanted you to. And I'm like, what was all the fights for?
Well, it sounds like he was trying to protect her and she was being a bitch about it. That's what it sounded like. She's like, you need to let me break into people's houses and help you.
That's always the case with these superhero girlfriends. They always want to do more. Yeah. And when the superhero's protective of them because they don't have powers, they're like, you're trying to control me.
They literally, and if you don't know who Tombstone is, he's a dude who's got unbreakable skin and insane strength.
Yeah.
And she broke in there and she's like, I don't know why you're always trying to protect me. I'm like, because that guy could have ripped you in fucking half.
And the only reason he even defeated him is because he gave him this gas that took away his skin abilities.
Yeah.
So he could actually punch him down. And it still took Spider-Man, like, with everything he had to take him out.
Also, did you notice in the game how strong you are and how weak you are at the same time?
Yeah.
So like you're like stopping cars, like you're holding up cars and lifting up like trucks and shit, right? And you're struggling doing that. And then in one part of the game, there is a dresser in front of a door and you struggle to move the dresser. And I'm like, is that dresser as heavy as a fucking car? Because it should have been like a whoop.
That's one thing that a lot of these games and movies don't get right all the time, because Spider-Man's power levels, especially when he's a veteran Spider-Man,
it's over 9,000.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Over 9,000, yeah.
Like, at one point in the comic books, he could shoot. His spider sense was so great that someone tried shooting a gun at his head behind him from like 100 feet away, and he turned around, shot a web into the barrel of the gun, and the web stopped the bullet before the bullet left the chamber. Like, that's how fast his spider sense is.
And then he flipped that person off, and that person was like, fuck you.
And then even just like MCU Spider-Man, there's a channel out there that calculates power levels of superheroes.
Like super nerds.
And yeah, they're ridiculously super nerds. Like, nerdy levels I would never be able to fathom how did they get to that nerdy levels, but they're amazing for it. They calculated that even like when Spider-Man and Spider-Man Homecoming is holding the two halves of the ships together, he's holding 1,000,000 pounds.
Yeah, but then he's struggling with moving
he's struggling, but that's when he's first Spider-Man.
With moving dressers.
That's when he's... I know, it's
How did
so
they
stupid.
know my one weakness? Dresses. Oh, what is this made of? Plywood? Oh,
my powers don't work against mahogany.
Mahogany, oak, plywood, all of it. My powers are worthless against wood. It's a good thing there's no wood villain.
It's a good thing there's not Mahogany Man.
If I ever fought Groot, I would be fucked.
We call him Matthew Mahogany.
It's so stupid. It is really dumb that they do that. Like, they do underestimate, and it's because
it's the same in every superhero thing ever.
Like Superman would struggle with it too for a second, and then move it. I'm like, why did he fucking struggle?
Well, it's one of those things too where it's like a lot of times they try to argue, like the developers always try to argue, like, well, he's holding back because he doesn't want anyone to get hurt. He's not wanting to do.
He doesn't want that dresser to get destroyed. That's what.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those things. It's like maybe he's just holding back his powers. Maybe he's just wanting to be normal for a second or something. And I'm like, okay, like whatever.
Yeah. They really do underestimate his power a lot. And it goes in like fluctuations because you'll fight those college students and they'll be doing harm to you. And I'm like, even this one who has a bunch of muscles should be doing shit to you right now.
Yeah.
They are not fighters. A.
Yeah, no.
They have no fighting experience. B, you're fucking like strong enough to stop cars and shit. One hit from you, even if you're holding back, should fucking knock that guy out.
Oh yeah, no,
It was bullshit.
ridiculous.
Yeah, super bullshit.
Yeah, no, a lot of that stuff is kind of fun. Do you want me to talk about the DLC, or is there more stuff you want to talk about with the main game?
I think that's all the shit I wanted to bring up with the bad stuff about the game.
Well, let's also talk about too. Like we said earlier, at Oscorp's Norman's place.
That's right, the Miles Morales thing. That's what you're bringing up.
No,
but I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, you can bring it up.
Go do your thing.
So at Norman Osborn's place, you end up going. That's another Mary Jane stealth mission. You go to Oscorp's place. There's a bunch of other Easter eggs. You find the Green Goblin helmet.
Oh yeah, that's what that was. I was curious about that. I was like, is it?
You find glider schematics.
Yeah.
You find prototypes for the pumpkin bombs.
Yeah, the gas bombs that he had.
And then throughout the entire story, you're hearing all this stuff about Harry being on a vacation.
Yeah, in Europe.
Yes, but he's actually been in a medical tube in the back, and he's got the Venom symbiote in there.
Yeah, what's funny is I guess that too when you're doing the Mary Jane mission. It doesn't show Harry in there. It's closed off.
Yeah.
And you go into a secret lab and you find all this stuff, including you find a bunch of spiders that are
yes,
the Spider-Man spiders, which is kind of weird that he just has a bunch of spiders in the secret lab. And he's obsessed with it because you find like a magazine about how Spider-Man was created or whatever, how he got his powers. Mm-hmm. But that's closed. That thing is closed off. And I'm like, I bet Harry's in there. At the end of the game, I'm like, I was right.
Yeah, and I think they're almost... I don't know if they're going with that the symbiote was from space or if they're going to go that they created this symbiote from the spiders, which is why he's got some real powers as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they're going with, which is why he had the genetic spiders. And I mean, all the genetic spiders came from Oscorp anyways.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he would have them. But that's when Mary Jane's in there, there's a spider that crawls onto Mary Jane.
And then just hangs out apparently for like 12 hours.
Yes.
It's like, listen, this is a cool house. And then it's like, that's a cooler house. I'm going to go now.
And then later on, she cross paths with Miles, and Miles gets bit by that spider.
Well, no, because she...
it's a box.
It's so dumb. She's like, hey, Tiger, and she's leaning on a fucking little, like... Well, what are those called? Like the railings for stairs, but it's a stone railing.
Yeah.
And then it crawls off of her. She doesn't even fucking know. And she's just leaving her hand there. I'm like, this was clearly put here so the spider could crawl off of her. And then it just goes into a box and hangs out there until Miles picks up the box and it bites him.
Yep.
And you're like, oh my God, this is so dumb.
So what you want to talk about?
That was the thing. Yeah.
So
because we forgot about that.
It is cool. When Peter is moving into his place, Miles is helping him, and Peter's like, "Hey, before my mom comes up here, I wanted to talk to you about something." So I've started noticing differences in my body, and Peter starts going, puberty, yeah.
And then
so
Peter
you're gonna start growing hairs in different areas,
and like, this is what an adult dick will look like now. And that's it. No, that's what happens in the game for sure. And then he's like, "Whoa, Peter, come on, dude! That's not what I was talking about."
So Miles stops. So he's like, "No, I'm not talking about puberty." And
put your penis away.
He's like, "It's just better if I show you." And then he's like, it looks like he's about ready to do something, like maybe like take off his shirt or something. Like he's just motioning weirdly. And Peter's like, "No, I don't want to see it." And he just jumps up onto the ceiling and he shows Peter that he has powers now.
Yeah.
And then Peter also does the same thing and shows him that he has powers. He's like, "You want to know something even weirder?" And then does the exact same thing.
You're not. What did he say? You're not so different or whatever?
Yeah.
Because he said he's feeling different.
Yep.
And so then he's like, "You're not so different after all." And I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool, Peter.
And then it's going on that Peter is now going to be helping Miles, and he's going to be training Miles how to be another Spider-Man.
Yeah, and that's why I think Peter's going to die in one of these games, because in the Miles comics, Peter does die.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a world where they're both alive.
Yeah, because they did change in that story. Otto was not like that, I don't think, and neither was Osborn. So they've definitely changed a few things already.
Yeah.
So they do.
Well, in most of the normal worlds, Harry's never Venom.
Yeah.
And either he becomes Green Goblin or his dad or both.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that they won't maybe not kill him, and I really hope they don't, because you do like this character a lot. This Peter's really cool.
Yes. I will have to bring up to you, I don't know if you've seen the remastered version of this.
Oh, they changed the face
to look more like Tom Holland.
I was just talking to a friend, and they said, they changed his face, and they did it because actually the mocap, the way that the remastered worked out is on the PlayStation 5, the mocap and the translation of the voice wasn't working the same, so they had to change the face a little bit to match the mocap actor who was doing the new Spider-Man game. And they decided just to go back and change the old game too, because why not?
Oh, okay.
But I was like, that's still dumb. They should have just hired the same mocap.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Yeah.
I'd still have to play the full game to get used to it because I just got so used to the way this one looks.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I don't necessarily hate it.
Yeah.
And it does look more like Tom Holland, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. And it was fun, but...
So yeah, the DLC though. So there's 3 DLCs to this game. Each one of them are a few hours long.
One of them is you just fuck Mary Jane for 12 straight hours.
Well, we get introduced. We had a lot of things in the game before about Black Cat. And
She's
we
so
actually...
cute.
Oh god, she's sexy as hell in this
sexy.
game.
And she's like, hey, Spidey, you want to fuck me? You're going to have to find
Pretty
me.
much.
That's the whole premise of Black
Do you mind me spoiling it for you a little bit? All right. So so she starts coming in and she starts stealing all this stuff. He's trying to capture her. He's trying to catch her in the act. He's trying to get her to stop stealing, wondering why she's stealing, why she's coming back into the city all of a sudden. Then she drops a bomb on him that...
You drop a bomb on me. And that's what plays while it's happening.
Yes, that would be awesome. That she's possibly pregnant and it's possibly yours.
And she's like, I'm pregnant and you're the father.
Well, and it's crazy
it really got the
because
days of our lives, didn't it?
Then all of a sudden, like, so she's really hitting on Spider-Man.
So wait, did they have sex?
When him and Mary Jane were broken up.
For 6 months? He's like, listen, I'm still hanging over Mary Jane, which she can't be mad if they were broken up.
No, which she was pretty understanding about it, honestly, in the game. But
really? Because she has to be, because they were broken up.
I agree. You do have to be understanding in that scenario. But yeah, no, it's just kind of funny because he like... so I ran into one of my exes, and I might be having a kid.
I'm a little confused. What's the timeline on that? Did they have sex right before Mary Jane and him got back together?
He doesn't know how far along she would be. She never says anything.
She's not showing, right?
She's not.
So she's probably less than 4 months.
Yes.
So
we don't know exactly, but I mean, there was a 6 months gap where MJ and Spider-Man didn't talk at all, and then... all of the stuff in the Spider-Man game didn't take too long.
Spider-Man is a player.
It was, probably a month's time for the entire game?
Yeah, true.
So it's possible, and he even is like, it could be.
I didn't use the pull-out method, technically.
I fired a different kind of web shooter.
Yeah.
Organic webs.
Organic webs. Yeah, I thought that's funny. That's really funny.
So there was all that, which is funny, and there's like that whole storyline, and turns out she was just lying to...
She's not pregnant.
To manipulate him, yeah. But they did have a fling, and he does end up staying with MJ, and she ends up leaving.
Boo.
But
stay with what's her name? Felicia.
Felicia
or Felicity? No, Felicia.
Yeah, it's Felicia.
She's fucking smoking. She's
which I think there's an achievement. Yeah,
that's fucking smoking.
The, like silver or whatever.
Yeah.
I think there was an achievement even for like completing one of the missions where it was called like "By Felicia," or something like that, or trophy, not
that's
achievement.
Funny.
But then when it gets into one of the other big Spider-Man villains that came into in the next DLCs, Hammerhead, and oh my god,
Hammerhead. I don't know that one.
So Hammerhead is...
He's got a hammer for a head.
He's got a big, like... His head basically is a hammer. He's got, like, a metal plate.
Oh, my God. That is the dumbest villain.
I know.
This is Hammerhead.
It's an old 60s, 70s Spider-Man villain. Like, it's one of the old classic Spider-Man villains.
It's like the people from fucking the SpongeBob superheroes where they're like, crack, and then he's like, want to see me run to that boulder? Want to see me do it again? That's what he is. He's a SpongeBob superhero or villain.
But he ends up getting a bunch of like equipment from Sable and making this like giant suit, and there's a bunch of big battles. And honestly, the last DLC is probably the hardest missions in the game.
And it made me the hardest.
And it's probably the hardest boss fight in the game.
And it made me the hardest.
Because it's a collection of every enemy type you've ever fought throughout the entire game.
So like the brutes and
all of them. Every enemy type is in this fight. It is a perfect way to end this game.
Do you become Cosmic Spider-Man?
I wish.
That'd be sweet.
Oh my god. Don't even... If we get Cosmic Spider-Man in a game, god, I would flip out. Or even in a movie, like just one scene of him being Cosmic Spider-Man.
Or even in a porno.
No. As much as I love Spider-Man, I don't want to see him in a porno.
Yes, you do, and I'm going to show you some after this is done.
No. So yeah, that's basically the DLC. I won't go too crazy.
Oh, you can talk about what happens at the end of the big fight.
So he ends up, I think he teams up. I've only played the DLC once, so fair warning. It's been a while since I played the DLC, but he ends up defeating Hammerhead, I think, with the help of Silver Sable.
Oh, nice.
She
Wait,
comes
Mary
back.
Jane doesn't come around and sneak around?
No, there's no more stealth missions. And throughout the DLC too, you're also talking to Miles. Like Miles will call you, like, "Hey Peter, I was just thinking about doing this," or "Hey, can you train me with this?" or "Hey Peter, can you do this?" or
"Can you show me how to web shoot my ex because she's kind of a bitch?"
And just doing all these things, and it's just really funny. And I can't remember if you get to play as Miles for a little bit in the DLC.
I don't know.
I can't remember as him being Spider-Man. I can't fully remember, but it's just a lot of fun. And honestly, we didn't even talk about the phone stuff. The phone stuff in this game is fucking hilarious. All the different things you can do on your phone. You can actually get tweets. You can read the tweets of everyone in the city. So if you stop a guy from robbing a purse, like you'll see it in the Twitter feed in the next 2 minutes. Spider-Man just helped me get my purse back, or all this random stuff.
Because it's at Spider-Man and you have a Twitter account for some reason. It's so stupid.
It's awesome.
It's so dumb.
It was a really cool way to make it modern and give way more world building into it. Like
it was cool, but it was just weird.
It's dumb if you don't care about it, but if you just like the little cheesy stuff, even I loved in the cutscenes when Peter and MJ were texting each other, their text messages would appear in text message form, and I thought that was a really cool way to do that. I just really loved it.
He would just send her nonstop eggplants, nonstop, and that's why she was like, "Peter, seriously, dude, I get it.
She sent him nonstop peaches, so.
Oh, okay. It was just a mix and match of a lot of good fruit and vegetables, and really what they were doing is starting a gardening club. And I
thought they were building a grocery list. And he's like, "I want eggplants," and she's like, "I want peaches."
Yeah, and then somebody else read it and was like, "Man, these guys are fucking a lot."
Yes,
and that's where the rumors come from. But yeah, the game as a whole, though, you want to get to the reviews? Are we done talking about story?
I guess we can.
This game is definitely worth it. This was 100%, so much fun.
No matter what the cost is.
All my bitching, I'm very pessimistic about these games because all the weird stuff that happens. But it's funny to me, sitting there going, "Oh my god, they did not just fucking do this."
Yeah.
I think it's still a worth it buy. It's so much fun to play. The swinging mechanics are great. The boss fights are fun. The characters are all fluid. They all have their own cool stories for the most part, except for Silver Sable, who's just kind of a shallow bullshit character that they threw in there. But everyone else seems to be really
even Taskmaster in it. The small amounts he's in it, the fights and stuff with him are
gorgeous graphics in the game. They are so nice. And
seriously, especially the remastered edition's got the visual ray tracing.
Yeah,
which I don't know if you guys have seen gameplay of it. It is gorgeous.
Yeah.
The ray tracing capabilities on the new generation of consoles and stuff is just absolutely amazing. I can't stop.
I would definitely say worth it. What would you say?
Oh, this game was 100% worth it.
I was kind of hoping you would say nah.
Nah, this game's not worth it.
I talked about how good it was for 2 hours, but you know what? This game fucking sucks.
No, seriously, this is one of my all-time favorite video games. This is probably my all-time favorite superhero game. I don't know if there's a superhero game that's as good as far as a single player.
I don't think you've ever played the Xbox Superman game. For the original Xbox. Oh, no, for the N64, we fly through rings.
Yeah, no. That's also one of the worst ones.
No.
But no,
what you don't understand is it's one of the best ones. Okay, buddy?
Yeah, Superman's one of the best characters, too.
He is. He flies through rings. I don't understand what you're not getting about this.
That does sound amazing, a game with all of Superman's capabilities flying through rings.
Yeah.
And that's most of the game.
Yeah, and that's all of the game.
Yeah.
That's literally N64 is the best game ever.
Woo.
One of the best. Ranked top on Scott's number one game list.
You guys should buy Superman 64
yes.
and just forget about Spider-Man 2019.
You know what's funny is now I'm going to make him play that game. It's going to be added to our list.
I was really hoping you would never say it.
So there's another bad game I'm adding to the fucking list. It's so bad. I love it.
No.
I love bad games more than I love good games because it's more fun to play.
Bad games are just fun to bitch about too.
I love bitching about tearing apart something.
Like the way you tear apart Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, it's terrible. Fucking terrible, horrible game. You might as well be blind and play it and you probably get through it.
You could. I'm not gonna deny that one. I love Banjo though. But I just have a lot of nostalgia with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this seriously, it's one of the most incredible games. It's probably one of the best mechanical games out there.
I think so. I had a lot of fun with the mechanics, actually.
If you're a Spider-Man lover, it's got one of the most incredible Spider-Man stories.
Yeah. It's got a good love story, I think, between him and MJ. Like
honestly,
that was
I really did
sweet.
like their relationship, and like all the times, like in their house when he's cooking her like the chicken curry, and stuff like that.
They're making jokes
so
and
many
stuff,
things like that, and then working together. Like Scott said, that Grand Central Station mission,
such a sweet level.
Like there's so many good love designs and the character designs in this game, and the way they did everything. Like I can't tell you enough how amazing this game is and how worth it this game is. This is just. Everyone who hasn't played it should, and if you don't have a PlayStation, watch the gameplay. Like there's compilations. I just watched one last night to re-up on my knowledge of the game of the movie version of it that people post on YouTube, which is still incredible.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it for this game. So thank everyone for listening. Really, guys. If you like it, comment, share. The review, whatever.
Yep.
If you want, give us a like, give us a subscribe, whatever. If
Talk
you don't
to us
want
in the comments.
I mean, whatever. We enjoy giving you guys this. We have a lot of fun playing these games anyway, so it's not really. We don't want you to do this and make you a comment review or anything, but we appreciate it and it helps us out. Give us some fucking game suggestions.
I want to tell you guys too. We kind of went through a massive overhaul. We were talking recently about like the games we're gonna play. We've been playing a lot of really long games, and that's been hard to keep on a schedule for you guys. So we're going to be switching to a lot more shorter games.
If we're doing a long game, it'll be in between two short games.
Yes,
which will make it easier.
Yes. So we'll still have these big blockbuster games, but we're also going to throw in a bunch of games that you guys probably haven't heard of very much. We've been doing a lot of these popular games. Yes.
Well, I think a lot of people have heard of it. I don't think a lot of people have played it.
Yes. It's popped up probably on your Game Pass here and there and stuff like that. But this is My Friend Pedro.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it because one of my friends just told me it's really funny and really
so good.
So
it's so good. So yeah, guys, just give us any suggestions, comment. If you leave any comments or you just want to chat with me sometime, send me a message, send us a message on our YouTube page. We'll read it. We'll talk to you about it. Maybe we'll bring you up in the page. You want to insert your stuff on here? We'll help your channel. You help our channel.
Yeah. Send Steven Spider-Man porn.
Please don't. Just don't. I don't want to see it.
Please do. Please. We're going to get people who do. We're definitely going to get people.
I'm going to have to cut that just because of that.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening again. This is Soul of a Gamer signing out.
Bye. Love you.